The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the Morning Espresso on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Hey everybody, Jason Longshore here. It's Friday, October 24th. We got a packed weekend across every level of the game. The MLS Cup Playoffs kick off tonight in Fort Lauderdale. Lionel Messi is staying in South Florida through 2028. El Clásico returns to the Santiago Bernabeu on Sunday. Big Boy is bringing the World Cup party home to Decatur. Atlanta United's academy teams are on the air tomorrow morning, and we'll wrap up with stories from around the world, including a little bit of financial chaos in a couple different places. Let's dive in. First off, just wanted to say a big thank you to our presenting sponsor of the Morning Espresso, Oglethorpe University. We had a great time yesterday at their career and job fair on campus. Talked to a lot of great Stormy Petrels, and it is very possible we have a few more Stormy Petrels that will be getting involved with the SDH network. Love the partnership that we're building with Oglethorpe, both on the soccer side with the coaches, John Aiken and Rob King, who are two of the best around, and also on the academic side, supporting some of the different initiatives on campus for the Stormy Petrels and helping some of their students get experience hands-on in covering the game and covering all the things around the game. We'll have more to come as we get ready for a very busy year in 2026 with the support of Oglethorpe University. Let's start in South Florida with the MLS Cup Playoffs. They officially kick off tonight. It's a big one. Inter Miami hosting Nashville SC to start the postseason under the bright lights in Fort Lauderdale. This year's best of three first round, it's no aggregate scoring like we saw last year, no away goals, just 90 minutes to win. If it's level, it goes straight to penalties. First team to win 2 games moves on. It's fast, it's tense, it's unpredictable, as we saw last year with Atlanta United knocking off Inter Miami. Playoff soccer is amazing. And look, I know it's not traditional, and I know some people get bent out of shape because of that. The MLS Cup playoffs are outstanding in terms of drama, in terms of story, in terms of the intensity of these matches. I love this time of year in the league. I hate that Atlanta United is not part of it this year, because last year's playoff run is something I will never, ever forget. So Miami, they're looking for revenge after last year's playoff run that got ended early by Atlanta. They are the highest profile side in the league, no question, led by Lionel Messi, who just re-signed through 2028. We'll get into that in a minute. He finished the season with 29 goals and 19 assists. That's insane. That's video game numbers, leading MLS in both categories. His connection with Luis Suarez, with Jordi Alba, I mean, these guys, Sergio Busquets, these guys, it's telepathic at this point. You're trying to send Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets off into retirement with a trophy. The Herons are going to open their playoff run trying to do that and trying to be a little more secure defensively. Nashville's not going to be a pushover, though. BJ Callahan has helped them find a new level. They won the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup earlier this month. They finished 6th in the East. Hani Mukhtar, Sam Surridge, a dynamic duo headlining the attack. Walker Zimmerman, still incredibly important in the back. This has been a very good defensive team this year. They've got the experience. They've beaten Miami before when Messi wasn't on the field. Can they do it when the lights are their brightest? We're going to find out starting tonight. Elsewhere in the East, the Philadelphia Union, they're the top seed after claiming their second Supporters' Shield. Bradley Carnell's first season in charge has been remarkable. This is a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. Philadelphia's pressing and tactical flexibility remain elite. They've balanced out their attack well, even with losing Daniel Gazdag. This is a good Philadelphia team. The question will be, do they have the guys that when you get into these playoff games and they get a little bit tighter and teams don't let you press them as much, does Philly have the players to grab the game and go win it for you? Because it will come down to some individuals at times. Do they have the guys who can step up and do that? We'll find out. Missing Quinn Sullivan is a big issue for Philadelphia, in my opinion. Charlotte, they ride into the playoffs after a record-tying 9-game winning streak. powered by Wilfred Zaha's pedigree. However, Wilfred Zaha will miss Game 1 due to a needless sending off on decision day. Chicago Fire, they're back in the postseason for the first time since 2017. They got their win in the wild card game under Greg Berhalter. Philip Zinkernagel, 15 goals, 15 assists, one of the best players in the league this season. In the West, San Diego made history as an expansion team. They had the best first season ever. Topped the conference behind Anders Dreyer's 19 goals, 19 assists. Now, the problem with San Diego is Chucky Lozano is having issues with the club after being substituted at halftime of a match a few weeks ago. He was not part of the decision day squad. It's really crazy that you're having this issue at this time of the year. Like, why is this the case when you're trying to win a trophy? Talked about it on The Intersection last night on 92.9 The Game. It's so selfish to get upset about being substituted at this stage and make it all about you. We'll see if Lozano can get that sorted out. Full credit to Mikey Veras for standing his ground and setting a standard. Vancouver, they're surging too. They've been great this year. Thomas Mueller since coming over, 7 goals in 7 matches. Ryan Gauld returning to fitness. If Brian White can stay healthy, Vancouver can go win it all. I think LAFC is the favorite to go win it all. After getting Son Heung-min from Tottenham Hotspur in August, they have been lights out. He and Dini Bouanga have combined for 25 goals across all competitions. They have been brilliant. I think they're the favorites to go win it all. I think it could very well be a LAFC Miami final, which would be unbelievable for everybody involved with Major League Soccer. That's the way I'm seeing it right now. This is a league like full of all the stories, all this kind of attention with Sonny coming over, with Messi here, with more great signings. The numbers show the momentum for the league right now. MLS reported an 11.2 million total attendance for 2025. That's the second highest in history. Now it's the first time you've had 30 teams with San Diego joining, but still. I think the one that jumps out to me is the 29% rise in live viewership year over year. You get some of the naysayers who talk about MLS not being on linear television. Well, they are. First off, they're on the Fox family of networks. That's actually happening, and it's about the same number of games as Fox has always had. So, one, the narrative isn't even true. Two, you're not on ESPN. That is true. But you have a partner who is invested in creating good content for you, and you're seeing growth inside of that partner's ecosystem with Apple TV. The numbers are backing that up. People will try to point out that, oh, well, you're averaging this number on a weekend. That means it's only 250,000 people per game. Well, look, we know that it's not 250,000 people spread across each game. We know some games are going to draw 1 million plus, and we know some games are going to draw a small audience. Those games, the ones that drew a small audience, in the past drew an even smaller audience on a regional TV, on a local TV, because they weren't drawing a whole lot locally and they weren't drawing anything else nationally. You're getting a larger audience across the board. 29% rise in live viewership year over year is fact. That's what they're telling you. That's what the numbers back up. Is it perfect? No, of course not. I wish you had Major League Soccer games on a regular basis on broadcast television with great presentation, with great promotion, with great respect shown to the product. Well, that hadn't happened before the Apple TV deal, ever. Not on a regular basis. You had too often partners not showing you proper respect, and yeah, they put your game on, but then immediately when you were off their air, they trashed it. That hurt the league more than it helped the league. The league needs to continue to grow. Don't get me wrong. There are ways this league needs to do some things to continue to grow. But this is a different world than it was 5 years ago in terms of what television looked like. The league needs to reflect that. I think they need to continue to get younger. They need to continue their growth on social with clips. They need to continue to grow their audience with a younger crowd that might not consume full games as much as those of us in the past have and still do. It's a new world. I think MLS is really trying to be ahead of that curve. Maybe at times with this kind of a move with Apple TV, they actually went well out in front of the curve. But here's the deal. I think you're starting to see a lot of other leagues and a lot of other properties try to catch up to that because that's where it's going, and we've known that. I like that the league has taken a chance. I like that they got some money in the bank on this Apple deal. I like that they're producing good content with it. I think it's getting there. There's still room to grow, and I want to see how teams and the league navigate that. But yeah, it's a good time for Major League Soccer right now. 5% decrease in average attendance this season. Overall attendance was up, again, with the addition of San Diego. Let's see this continue to grow. This is one of the most viewed leagues in the world with attendance in the stadiums. This is a league that is growing its broadcast side, and this is a league that now can count on the GOAT staying here through 2028. Yeah, the news is official. Lionel Messi is going to stay with Inter Miami through the 2028 season, keeping him in MLS, obviously, through the Summer's World Cup, through the opening of Miami Freedom Park, the team's long-awaited new stadium. This is important. This is very important. In the club's video announcement, Messi sat at midfield in the under-construction venue, signing the deal under the caption, "He's home." He said, "It makes me really happy to stay here and to continue with this project that, besides being a dream, has become a beautiful reality, playing in this stadium at Miami Freedom Park." By the time his contract ends, he'll be 41 years old. It's pretty fair to say that Miami will be his final club. When his contract ends there, he will have played for Miami longer than anybody else in his career except for Barcelona. The influence is enormous. Attendance spikes everywhere he plays. It still does. Record global viewership. He's bringing new eyeballs to the league. I see highlights from all of my Argentine connections that I follow for news. Anytime Messi does anything brilliant, which is most every weekend, he has transformed MLS visibility across the world. He's made it a cultural force in many parts of the world. He's not slowing down either. He's probably going to be the most valuable player this year. He's producing at elite levels. He's still drawing defenders out of position just with a side eye. Yeah, it's the final chapter, but man, it's a long chapter, and he's using a lot of bold print. A game that he knows very well, a game that he's no longer participating in, El Clásico in Spain. It returns on Sunday. Real Madrid hosting Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu. Kylian Mbappé, he leads La Liga right now with goals scored. This is going to be fascinating to see how he handles the pressure of this El Clásico because Barcelona won all of them last year. 4 in all competitions, combined 16-7 score. Can Xabi Alonso help Kylian Mbappé get Real Madrid back to where they want to be in this rivalry? Barca have injury issues. Robert Lewandowski is out. Rafinha is out as well. Hansi Flick will serve a touchline suspension after his red card last week. A silly red card for him. That means Lamine Yamal is going to carry the attacking load, and he's been talking, and Madrid folks are not happy about the things Lamine Yamal has said. He's becoming a bit of a villain in El Clásico. I don't think he minds that too much. I'm excited. Thibaut Courtois, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, he summed it up this week. We have to stop their firepower while being crisper up front ourselves. This is a huge opportunity for Kylian Mbappé, a chance to cement himself in Madrid lore and to make himself the key figure of this rivalry right now in this era. Expect some fireworks on Sunday, 11:15 kick. You can watch it, as always, over at our favorite soccer bar in the United States, the best soccer bar in the United States, the Brewhouse Cafe. You can grab an around the corner lager powered by NoFo Brewing. Yeah, it's good times. That's going to be a really, really good match on Sunday. All right, let's come back closer to home. The next generation of Atlanta United talent takes the field tomorrow morning. 4 Atlanta United Academy players, Fred Bond, Shea Fakiesi, David Alovaber, and Noe Santillan. They have been called up to the U.S. U-16 national team camp in Spain later this month. Before they go, you can watch them tomorrow morning. Madison Cruz and I will be on the call for both the U-18 and U-16 matches starting at 10 a.m. on ATLUTD.com/live and the club's social channels and YouTube. These matches are always fun. I love calling these games, high tempo, great technical quality, a real look into the future of what Atlanta United can look like. This club's academy, it continues to set the bar in Major League Soccer. Let's stay closer to home with some news yesterday you might have missed. Atlanta's already turning up the volume for the World Cup, getting some help from Decatur. Big Boy is going to headline opening night of the Decatur Watch Fest 26 with a free concert on the Decatur Square. Thursday, June 11th, 2026, the very first day of the World Cup with the games kicking off at the Estadio Azteca and in Mexico. Big Boy said, as an Atlantan and a huge soccer fan, performing for Decatur Watch Fest 26 to kick off our World Cup festivities is a great honor. I've seen the energy the World Cup creates, and I'm excited to get the party started for music and soccer fans in my backyard. It's the first in a lineup of concerts and viewing parties that will run all 34 days of the tournament. The music side of it is produced by Amplify My Community, who also put on the Amplify Decatur Music Festival. You got 8 World Cup games set for the Benz. You got a MARTA station literally beneath the Decatur Square. Decatur's going to be one of the city's major fan hubs with big screens, live music, local food, nightly events, great pubs, great restaurants. Big Boy opening Decatur Watch Fest just feels perfect, doesn't it? Music, culture, soccer, all blending together and on the MARTA line. So it's just going to be so easy to get to and to get back to wherever you're going. Really looking forward to everything getting started next summer. All right, now the not-so-fun stuff in the morning espresso. Let's go back across the pond. It's a cautionary tale in English football. Sheffield Wednesday, one of England's oldest clubs, they have entered administration. That brings a 12-point deduction in the table and deep financial uncertainty. Administrators have stepped in to stabilize the operations and find new ownership. Co-administrator John Wigfield, he's a lifelong Sheffield Wednesday fan. He said, supporters are the backbone of any football club. Every ticket, pint, and scarf sold now directly supports the day-to-day running of this club. Fan protests over owner Defon Shensiri have grown over months amid unpaid wages and ballooning debt. UK officials are now calling for tougher fit and proper ownership rules, especially in light of this one, other scandals involving 777 partners, other potential ownership groups. It's got to get better here. I mean, there's reports that the league was going to approve 777 partners taking over Everton, and now we find out that it was all fraudulent. The good news right now for Wednesday fans, fixtures will continue. New investors will be sought. But for a club with this kind of heritage, it's a sobering moment about what can happen when financial mismanagement collides with fading oversight. This is a problem. Hopefully, it can now get resolved. Around the world, let's go to South America. Liga de Quito stunned Palmeiras last night, 3-0 in the altitude of Ecuador in the Copa Libertadores semifinal first leg. A massive upset. Now you have the Ecuadorian fans dreaming of a return to continental glory. The final will be in Lima, Peru in November. Cannot wait to see the second leg of these matches. Flamengo with a narrow 1-0 lead. They got to take to Argentina and try to defend. Racing will be missing our old friend Santiago Sosa due to injury. I believe he has had surgery today with facial fractures after catching a wayward elbow from his teammate, Marcos Rojo. So Racing will be missing one of their most important players. We'll see if they can overturn a 1-0 deficit. And Palmeiras is going to have to come out all guns blazing in the second leg in Brazil, trying to overturn a 3-0 deficit against Liga de Quito. Let's stay in Brazil. John Textor's Botafogo dealing with major financial unrest. You've got issues right now that Globo is reporting on. Players are in dispute with the club over unpaid Club World Cup bonuses. They should be getting paid out now, and the club is putting forth a plan of payment rather than actual payment. They want to spread the payment over 12 months rather than pay the bonus. That's an issue. John Textor's group and the club, Botafogo, still owe Atlanta United for the transfer fee for Thiago Almada. That's sitting before the Court of Arbitration for Sport. That's an issue. John Texter was actually one of the people who was linked with potentially buying Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think he's going to be able to pull that off these days. Let's go to Japan. Kyoto Sanga, they continue an unlikely J-League title challenge. Big weekend for them, 4 weeks left in the J-League season. We'll see if Kyoto Sanga can become the 12th team to win the J-League in history. In Europe, Benfica has again been named the world's most productive academy with 93 players developed and playing professionally worldwide. River Plate is in third in that conversation, and Argentina has the most clubs in the top 100 with 15 Argentine clubs that are on this list of producing the most professionals worldwide. In the women's game, Spain, Germany, France, and Sweden will kick off the UEFA Women's Nations League semifinals this weekend. The U.S. women's national team lost last night to Portugal for the first time ever. Rose Lavelle scored in the first 30 seconds. And then the U.S. didn't really look that good. Emma Hayes was frustrated. We'll see how they look in game number 2 of this window, but it's got to be better than this one was. It just felt like the intensity dropped after they got the early goal. Other news, Morocco's Hakim Ziyech, former Chelsea man, played a lot of places, played really well in the last World Cup. He has officially joined Wydad Casablanca, returning home to play in the Moroccan Pro League for the first time in his career. It's one of these weekends where the game truly is everywhere. You got the playoffs in South Florida. You got Lionel Messi staying put. He'll be eating the crazy Argentine pizza from that pizzeria in Miami. You got Madrid and Barcelona ready to clash in El Clásico. You got Big Boy coming to Decatur next summer to kick off the World Cup party. And you got Atlanta United's Next Generation kicking off another chapter in their story on the air tomorrow morning. Don't forget, 10 a.m., you'll be able to watch the Atlanta United U-18s first, then the U-16s. It's a doubleheader, ATLUTD.com/live. The game never stops, and obviously neither do we. I'll be at Georgia State tonight as the women host James Madison in the Sun Belt home finale, trying to book their spot in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. Really excited for that. 7 o'clock on ESPN+. Then the Academy games on Saturday morning. Then the Georgia State men at home at the GSU Soccer Complex on Sunday at 6 o'clock. I'll be on the call for that one as well on ESPN+. I'm Jason Longshore. Thank you for listening to the Morning Espresso, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Catch every episode on Spreaker, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great weekend. Have an Around the Corner lager if you get the chance to go over to the Brewhouse Cafe, and enjoy your soccer. We'll be back on Monday to wrap it all up for you and get you ready for a new week.